Hey guys, did you all know that Tokyo Tony's father was the drummer for the Plasmatics? The Plasmatics was a 70s and 80s band. And with him drumming, he toured all over the US, all over Europe. So you can say that he's a famous drummer. Here's an audio with him being interviewed by DJ Dave.
Left the band. They did. So Dan Hartman had already discovered them and liked what he heard, so he'd been working with them for a while. Is that what the scoop was there? Yeah, about a year or two prior before I got there. Okay. John Beauvoir left the band. And they did a lot of revamping, not too much. They found another bass player, Chris Romanelli, and then they found me. We found each other. I'll put it that way. And so they were on Stiff initially in America, and was that their first Capitol release? Again, I don't have all my facts straight. No, from Stiff, because we got, it was like 2 years later when we did that coup d'etat. That was like a year later after I was with that band. Yeah, it was like a year later. And we got the deal with Capitol Records. Yeah. And how did that come about? Well, Rod Swift, he knows everybody. Okay. The guy name was, I can't think of his last name, Bruce somebody, not Bruce Kulick, but Bruce somebody, right? So he came down to check the band out to the loft. That's where we rehearsed and did like a private audition, so to speak. He liked the band, took it back to Capitol Records. We were signed, and I guess the record. I think the Plasmatics were a bit ahead of their time, actually, man, because people wasn't really grabbing on to what was going on. Now, man, if you go to Germany right now, you see that thing plastered all over the place. Blew me away. I just got back from Germany, man. And I'm still signing the albums and everything, so it's a great big following there, man. What kind of what size gigs were you guys playing when you were in the band? And where were some big places for Plasmatics? Well, in 80 to 83, we went on tour with Kiss. So we did arenas, man. All throughout Texas and stuff. So we were on that tour, the Preachers of the Night tour. Gotcha. So we did that for about 3 months. Then they picked up on somebody else, and we went on about.
So they were only with Kiss about 3 months doing the tour with them.
To record another album. After that, there was like Commander Chaos. But after the tour, we did a Wendy O album. That's when she went solo. Gotcha. And I was on board. And so you played with her under her own name for a little while. That was the reason she did the album under a solo name, just because to get out of label wranglings? Exactly. The music was changing, man. It was changing fast and all the time, right? And the Plasmatics sort of had kind of a thing to it. So she wanted to sort of part from that for a while and just do her own thing, And it seemed like her stuff was with better musicians and stuff like that. It seemed like she just kept picking the pace up. Yeah, absolutely. That's the way she was, man. It seems like it kept getting spicier, basically. Because she had some bona fide musicians with her at the time. Greg Smith, he's out there. He played with a lot of cats out there. He played with Deep Purple as well. Alice Cooper, and a lot of cats, man. He's out there playing with. Can't think of his name. What's the guy with the foxtail and stuff? He likes to shoot rabbits and shit. Nugent. Yeah, so he's out there with that Nugent. Gotcha. So when you joined the Plasmatics, did you know what you were in for? It's funny you should mention that, man, because it's like a week before I went to New York. I saw him on the Tom Snyder show. Okay. And I was looking like, damn, where's the beat? I mean, jeez, man, if I was in that band, man, I could make that. I swear to God, man. I said, man, if I was in that band, man, that band would be hot, man. And who would have known, you know what I mean? And like they say, it's now history, Now, Plasmatics were on Tom Snyder's show a couple of times. Yeah, for ratings week, I guess. He had to get the band back on. Were you in the band at that time? Wendy, man. Okay. No, not at that time. No, okay. Then they did a Joan Rivers thing, but we had a little disagreement at the time, because things weren't, quite as well as it should have been, because, I don't know, they was falling into some other thing, some rap thing, and I just couldn't relate to that.
But over the years, he also played with some jazz musicians. Heavy metal was not his only genre of music. So it was about this time in the 80s when rap came on the scene, and a lot of musicians wasn't down with it, and he was one of them. And to this day, a lot of musicians are not into this rapping. They say it's not real music, not real singing. Over the years, we see rap music soaring to new heights, although he wasn't down with that type of music.
So, what did you think of the whole punk thing? I mean, did that... Like, I wasn't into punk, to be honest with you. Yeah. You know, this punk thing, it went over my head. Yeah. Not punk, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, that was my style of music, my style of playing. Nothing for Nothing was the one that changed that whole plasmatic sound, man. That thing became heavy, you know, do the math. We have a DVD out that was released like last December, 10 years of revolutionary rock and roll, you know, and it gives you the whole gamut of from, 72 up until, 87. And is this like Wes who's pretty much running like the Plasmatics site and stuff now and selling the merchandise? Or? Yes, he's doing the whole thing, yeah. So, you know, it goes by a couple different names. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So, eventually you stopped working with Wendy and you gravitated back to DC at some point. What did you do between, like, leaving Wendy's, you know, camp and coming back to the DC area? Yeah, man, when Plasmatics broke up, you know, wasn't nothing happening at the time in New York. It seemed like everything was just going through a change. And so I decided to go back to DC and, you know, get my funk together again and stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's when I came back down to DC. And what did I do after that? I played with just a few groups. I kept my contacts in New York, right? And from Greg Smith, he knew T.M. Stevens. Gotcha. And the people from T.M. Stevens' camp, you know, knew him. And Greg told him that I know this drummer for you. His name is T.C., man. Right. And so T.M. gave me a call. I went up to New York. We hit and funked a little bit, and I did his first CD. It's called Boom, you know. And I've also, you know, did a couple tracks, you know, written a couple tracks on that CD as well. Because you guys definitely lock in, like the video from Italy last year. I mean, that's like... Oh, yeah, and the image, the whole nine. I mean, you just don't see that anymore. No. You know what I mean? So, no, definitely not. No, that's totally done, set, absolutely, solid. Man. Before we move on too much further, so at one point Gene Simmons like stepped in to produce you guys also, right? Is that? Yeah. And he played bass on some recordings with you guys. He played bass on the whole Wendy O album. He did, okay. Yeah, and the rest of it we called the boys, Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley. All of them wanted to put their fingers in that, man, you know, because they was digging what was going on at the time. Mm-hmm. So we really blew Gene away when we did a tour with him. Yeah, I think what you guys did basically in the Plasmatics, which I almost don't even want to call the band punk. I want to call it just shock rock. You can call it that. Yeah, I think shock rock's way better. I think you guys took what, you know, bands like Alice Cooper, maybe even like Black Oak, Arkansas sort of had like, you know, really like energetic performances, the Tubes, and then you guys brought it up to the next level. I mean, not only was there flashes going off on stage, you guys are blowing cars up on stage and making sort of like political and social commentary with Wendy, and I think Kiss probably saw that and said, "Okay, these guys, this is a gimmick that we got to like." It wasn't even a gimmick. I mean, sometimes, man, I was frightened to death and stuff. Wendy's kind of loose on that little hammer sometimes. Gotcha. You know, like, you know. But it was your gig, is what I really mean. Yeah. It was fantastic, man. You guys had fire marshals coming down. I know that she got just beat about up everywhere. At more than one gig. Right. Like, what was that? Like I said, before we go past the Plasmatics, what was that like? I mean, was it just like, I mean, did you have to be like underground about it the whole time? I mean, no, man, showing up to the gigs? Wisconsin was so uptight, man. You know what I mean? At that time, that incident happened just before my time, right? But we played back in Wisconsin too, and we got our little briefings. Cause sometimes I count a song off. I took it from Richie Stott's 1, 2, 1, and then you know, that's when you might get rushed. Right. But I say, hell with it, I'm going to take a chance and shit, so I did it. See, I don't think... Nothing happened, okay, it's cool. We're not getting our ass kicked tonight, all right? I mean, I remember being a kid and friends would, like, play me some Plasmatics. Really, there was two bands I heard first when I heard, like, what was, like, being called the real punk, which it, you know, is, you know, Plasmatics and Dead Kennedys. And I really didn't latch onto either at the time. I mean, right, I was young and I was into Queen, but I liked Devo, but it was like...
He is truly a drummer, guys, because he walked with his drumsticks. That's what you hear. He is drumming on his leg from time to time during this interview. That's how attached he is to his drumsticks. That's when you know a drummer is truly a drummer.
The Plasmatics is like, Well, these are blowing stuff up, so I liked that as a kid. That appealed to me. You know, I was like, okay, I get it. They're blowing stuff. Like, I think the band had been on Fridays also.
Oh, yeah.
The band hit me musically later. Now I can say, like, yeah, I like Dead Kennedys and I like Plasmatics.
Right, retro, when you look back at it.
I just don't think America, I think it was about 3 years too early for America, actually.
That's what I was saying. But it was a little ahead of her time, man.
Yeah, I think it was just 3 years too early.
Right, and then you look at these groups now, Guar and people, Slipknot. Come on, man. You know,
this is definitely one of the ingredients.
Where this shit comes from, man. You know, when they laid out this whole thing, man, you know, that's why sometimes kind of disturbs me when they have, like, on a VH1 or MTV, shock groups, you know, and you see, like, you know, Iggy Pop and all these cats and all these, you know, Sex Pistols and everybody, but I never see Wendy, man, and I thought she spearheaded that whole thing. That's just my opinion.
So Wendy, the person he's talking about, was the lead singer for the group that he was a member of, the Plasmatics, and he was the drummer. So that was the interview with T.C. Tolliver, Tokyo Toni's dad, with DJ Dave. So T.C. Tolliver is a drummer, and he's best known for his performance when he was in Wendy O. Williams' band. And she, of course, was the shock rocker. He was a member of the Plasmatics, and he performed with some very notable people like Lenny Kilmaster and Kiss. He went on tour. Well, the whole band went on tour with Kiss. That tour was called the Creatures of the Night Tour. The Plasmatics was an American punk rock, hardcore punk, and heavy metal band performed by Rod Swinson and Wendy O in New York City back in 1977. They were known for a lot of theatrics. They were known for destruction, like blowing stuff up on stage and breaking stuff up, and just outrageous theatrics. So T.C. Tolliver was the drummer for this group. So the Plasmatics were formed in 1977, and the founders were Rod Swinson and Wendy O. Williams. So yes, guys, we are going back into time, okay? This is back into time because T.C. Tolliver is now an 81-year-old man. He was born in 1942. So I guess the celebrity status rubbed off on his daughter and his granddaughter. It rubbed off on Blac Chyna as well as her mother, Tokyo Toni, because they are in the limelight a lot of times for different reasons. Tokyo Toni is a shock jock in her own right, and Blac Chyna, as you guys know, have 2 children, one for Rob Kardashian and the other one for Tyga, the rapper. So she should never be short of cash for any reasons because both of these guys are millionaires. But Blac Chyna makes her own money. She does a lot of promotion. She's a model. Does the various things with various companies. So guys, drop your comments in the comment section. Tell me what you think about Tokyo Toni having this famous dad. And what happened to her that she had to go work the pole? Was he not providing child support or throwing money her way as a teenager? I think she said she got pregnant at 16 for a married man, and she was working the pole and was even a prostitute from time to time. So what happened? Well, I guess it's a lesson for a lot of fellows out there. If you don't want your daughter working the pole or turning to prostitution at an early age, provide that child support, okay? Now, I don't know if her father was providing child support because we know a lot of guys don't, especially when they're in a band and they're on the tour and making a lot of children. Because Tokyo Toni, in an interview with, I believe it was Real Life Productions, I believe was the name of the people who interviewed her, she said she had about 14 brothers and sisters. I'm sure they're not all from the same mother and father. Being that her father was a member of a rock band, he probably was making children on the road with various people. So, but she's got a lot of brothers and sisters. But as you guys can see from that interview with her father, he's not as foul-mouthed as Tokyo Toni. So I wonder what happened to her over the years, that she cannot make a sentence without cussing so profusely. Anyway, YouTubers, drop your comments. I'm over and out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and to this video. Thank you for watching.